Okay. It's show time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to now commence today's program, which is basically a, a virtual program called the X-Space panel discussion on the topic how youth-driven initiatives are shaping tomorrow's world, nurturing leadership, innovation, and social impact. And the panelists are Albert McGharbins, Executive Director of McGharbins Network, who is here to join us. We also have Malco Afeti, who is a youth activist and a medical student at University of Health and Allied Sciences. And I myself, who is the host and a panelist joined together, John Samigashiglo, Executive Director, Youth Impact Movement. It's an honor for all of us to be here. And with this, we start with God Almighty, Allah, and the Supreme Being. So I welcome you all to this X Space on this important topic, how youth-driven initiatives are shaping tomorrow's world, nurturing leadership, innovation, and social impact. Youth-driven initiatives, as you know, are initiatives tailored towards the youth. Some are youth-led, some are youth-focused. And at the end, as you know, the future is for the youth. And if the youth are not trained to grab such an opportunity, would get there and would mess up. That is why it's very important that we need to know how the future has in stock for us to prepare. If you know the journey ahead of you, you are able to prepare for that journey accordingly. You know that you will be traveling from Accra, Ghana to the United States. You know that it's a 3-hour flight, and after getting there, you would at least have to book a hotel in advance. You'd obviously gather money and pay for the flight, the hotel, get visa approval for how long you are going to stay over there. And that is how youth-driven initiatives are to equally prepare us for such an enlightening future. In preparation, you don't get paid to get prepared because the preparation as well is something that money might not necessarily pay for. And these youth initiatives, most of them are voluntary, except when they have grants and sponsorships sponsoring that they can assist you financially. But all they present to you cannot exactly be quantified when it really comes to payment, because some of you would not even be able to pay. But at the end, they put you on the pedestal, put you forth, and recommend you as competent enough to play a role and also become the leader you have been trained to be. So I welcome you all once again. We'll have our opening statement from Malco Kofi Afeti, who is a youth activist and a medical student at the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Ghana, to give us the opening statement once again and open the discussion for us. Mr. Malco Afeti, the floor is yours. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Malcolm, can we hear from you now? Uh, I think I can see that Albert Garbins has also joined. He has joined us, and we are grateful to have him in our presence. Mr. Garbins, are you there? Are you live?
Yes, I'm right here.
Fantastic. I know he will not disappoint because he consented to the holding of this program. So I'm glad to have you on board, sir.
The pleasure is all mine.
Yes. So, Mr. Marco Affetti, can we hear your opening statement to start the discussion for us? And then we'll equally contribute as a panel to the topic. Or if it's not available now, then I think Mr. Gabbins, are you ready to introduce the discussion for us? If I may ask.
That is fine by me.
Okay, then kindly do us the honors.
So thank you very much, Mr. Jones. I'm really humbled for the opportunity to speak on issues to help promote the livelihoods of young people in Ghana, Africa, and beyond. Good evening to all the listeners as well. So I believe that youth-driven initiatives play a pivotal role in shaping tomorrow's world by fostering the leadership, driving innovation, and creating meaningful social impact as well. The fresh perspectives and boundless energy of young leaders often lead to innovative solutions for global challenges. Now, these initiatives empower young individuals to take charge, instilling a sense of responsibility and commitment to creating positive change. Now, as catalyst for progress, and I would like to acknowledge all the good things that Mr. Jones and the other youth leaders have been doing for the past few years. I want to say that youth-driven endeavors contribute to more dynamic and inclusive future. And I really look forward to a very interactive session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Affetti, are you active right now for us to hear from you? Okay, since Dr. Affetti is not active, we'll move on to talk about this entire team. So, um, so youth-driven initiatives, as Gavin has said, prepares us for the future. And no more joining to serve. because an impression has been created that there's chop chop over there. So if there is a youth group that is supposed to train politicians, they'll end up training people who are hungry for money rather than training people who are hungry to serve the nation. Now, youth initiatives that come up equally need support. But when there is lack of transparency in their dealings, a lot of questions come up and then integrity is being, swirled. Mr. McGharbins, what is your take upon the financial issues that come around handling youth-driven initiatives?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So, as we are all aware, transparency and accountability plays a key role in making sure that whatever initiative that you are working on becomes a success. Now, a lot of initiatives that are geared towards supporting the young people, unfortunately, most of these initiatives are concluded and decided by people who are not even in the age bracket. When I say age brackets, I mean um, between the ages of 18 to 35. Um, that's the major bracket meant for describing young people, and this has really been an issue we have been working so hard on, because we need to have young people to be part of the decision making for initiatives that are for young people. I mean, what's the essence of organizing or putting in initiatives for young people without having them part of the decision making? Now, um, a lot of young people are being seen as incompetent, and partly isn't their fault because the system isn't putting in structures to build their capacities, the results that they want to see. So for me, I basically want to say that as young people, we need to find ways and means looking out for opportunities that are going to help in building our capacities, because it is quite obvious that the structures are not there to do so. And so we must push in playing roles that are going to end up bringing the results that we want to see. Because if we do not participate and we keep talking about this, we want to see that, want this to be accountable for this, want this to be accountable for that, the finances are this, the finances are that, and we ourselves as young people aren't building our capacities, then we are part of the problem. So for me, I strongly believe that we building our capacities, example with what you are doing, Mr. Jones, with the Youth Impact Parliament, building the capacity of young people who want to go into the area relating to parliamentary affairs and all of that. I mean, without that training, whatever position that is given to you, whatever project that is given to you, you cannot be able to handle it well. Because if you don't know how to structure things and put things in place and get your facts checked and get people to check what you're doing and making sure that you are doing the right thing, you are being held accountable for it, then I guess we'll just be going around the circles and we won't really see any results. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Yes, I agree with what you said, because they need this training in order to get there prepared. But another thing also sprouts up. It appears after they are being trained for the future, when they get to the future, they get to positions that are being given to them. There appears to be a new person that comes out after assuming the position. We don't know whether it is pride. We don't know whether it is the feeling of entitlement. We don't know whether it is that he now feels he has made it in the world. And then it's like all the trainings that you have given them disappears. What is your take on this issue of when they get there, they change?
So, from my experience, one thing that I've realized is it is not that they have changed, but you see, for certain positions, there are already structured culture that you're supposed to follow once you occupy them. And as young people aspiring to occupy certain positions, one thing we get to miss out on is really digging deep to understanding the culture that evolves around that position. We look at all the glitz and glamour, and we say a lot of things that like, oh, when I get this position, I'm going to do this. When I get that position, I'm going to do that. And you realize that those who are already in the system, they just look at you and laugh and just wait for you to just join in. The system isn't supporting new, or should I say fresh ideas that are innovative and that will help the lives of young people. So you see young people going into the system with a clean heart and clean mind, but because of, excuse me to say, the dark energy around those positions, there is no way light can shine in darkness. And you know that because some of the darkness, if you try to spark your light, they will cripple you and throw you out. So people get into these positions trying to make a change. Now you occupy a position and now you feel like it was just a title you are holding. You're not actually able to function in the capacity you're supposed to, because someone above you is trying to make sure that your movements are monitored. Whatever work you do is monitored. You can't say the things you want to say. Everything has to be scripted for you and all of that. So for those who are able to climb those positions and are able to do as they say, it's just a few. For us like this, I mean, you and I have worked on so many projects and we did so many sacrifices without expecting anything in return. And also because we have seen some of our leaders getting into position and ignoring the promises that they made. And so everybody feels like, okay, then let me just deceive my people, tell them I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Once I get to the position, I mean, I'm already in the position, nobody can throw me out. So let me just enjoy what I need to enjoy with that position, get something for myself and for my kids, and then I move on with life. This is a practice that is not going to help us at all. So the problem mostly isn't really the human beings, but it's what they go through whilst trying to get into that position and what the culture of that position does to the people. Yes, I think it's not just the human beings; it's the surrounding, the environment in which they find themselves in. It is There are too much powerful hands that are going to be on you, and if you try to bring change, it looks like you are trying to become the saint of the day, and they wouldn't allow that to happen. So it's really not almost the fault of the person. Sometimes being the person, but then I think it's the system and the structures. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you very much. You have clarified a lot of um, questions in the mind of young people. Young people. I've received information from Dr. Feti. He had an issue with his communication, so he would join us. Doc, kindly send a request to be a speaker and then it's be granted. Okay. So uh, moving on to the matters arising, it is not evident that the culture of an office that you hold will not changing you. But um, some people are still strong and they remain resolved even when they get there. Regardless of the culture, they break through to get closer to the grassroots. We have been having this perception that big people always raise their shoulders, but I've met a couple of people in government leadership positions and they are very humble. They are very humble. They don't raise their shoulders. And the perception have been that they don't give you attention, but they still give that attention. And it seems to me that the narrative is changing. Should we equally inculcate such humility into the youth that we are nurturing, to let them know that it is not about the big vehicles that you drive that should make you raise shoulders, but it's about the future. We are all human beings, and when we die, we are all going to sleep. So you need to humble yourself. What do you think about this?
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Yes, we have leaders who are really, they still go the extra mile to serve their people. And for me, I'm very happy that against all odds, we still have some people who are able to prove to us that no matter the level that you find yourself, they are still humans and they can relate with us. Now, it is quite important for young people to understand that to make your work easy as a leader, you have to serve. Once they see results, you don't need to spend millions of CDs to tip people off to keep voting for you or to keep nominating you to occupy certain positions. Because it has gotten to a point where it's like once you have the finances and you can put something in the pockets of people, they can occupy whatever position that you want to occupy, whether you are humble or not. This isn't going to help. We, as young people complaining about the system and how it is going, we need to be the change that we want to see. And that is by we making sure we keep the humility concept and making sure that the people that we have taken an oath to serve, we actually serve them. And once that is done, I don't think that the people will come after you requesting for you to put the, certain amount of money into your pocket before they vote you in. That means that they don't even trust you. They know that once you occupy the position, you get to distance yourself from them. So it's better they loot from you now, so that later on when you're ignoring them, they wouldn't bother themselves. So it's just simple. If you keep that communication with them, if you serve them well, if you give them a listening ear and make them feel that yes, you really do relate with them, they wouldn't come bashing at you. You wouldn't need to go the extra mile to convince them to keep voting you in, to keep nominating you. Relationships gives a lot of opportunities, it gives you a lot of power. So if you really want power, it is not the finances. It is you building good relationships with the people that you really, really, really want to serve. Once you're able to do that, once they know they can trust you with their votes, and they know that once you occupy that position, you're not going to be far from them. Trust me, the money that you have to use to be tipping people off every single day, you can use that same money to put up development structures for these people. And then they continue to vote for you over and over and over again. It's that simple. So I really encourage every person to always make sure that humility is never far from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Dr. Feti.
Yeah,
Dr. Feti, let's hear from you.
thank you so much. With all apologies, I had some difficulties, but I'm glad I'm really connected now. So let me first of all thank my early speakers, and they should grant me the chance to establish a rapport on the earlier established protocol. So it's all about ability to serve. Leadership is all about service and humility. If you are unable to humble yourself and serve, then you cannot be a leader. So let me first of all give a typical example of our Lord Jesus Christ, who came down to earth, and because he was so much down to earth, and when you are down to earth, that is when you can be able to understand the need of the ordinary Ghanaian or the ordinary civilian that you wish to lead. Imagine someone who is maybe born and bred in US or some of these advanced countries, and later on coming to the country too, because you were born there, you school there, you have the means to actually get all this wealth. So when you really, and not even you may not, you will definitely will not understand the need of the ordinary civilian. So for you to be a good leader, you have to be with the people you want to lead. Understand their need. Understand why somebody cannot even afford a 3 square meal a day. Some people do 001 or 101 or 100. You may not understand, but somebody who lives with the people from the grassroots understand how it feels to be less privileged. Understand how it's actually the stress that comes with living with difficulties. So when you are there tomorrow and they are shouting and they are crying, you can be able to understand the meaning of their cry. And that is what I have to say for now. As time goes on, I'll add more points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we just heard from Dr. Feti. Let me put some questions to Dr. Feti as well. They said leadership as well, or power. Power, as you know, exposes your true character. And when you give power to someone, you will know the true character of that person. What is your assertion on that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Jones. When you give power to someone, you will know the person's true character. Was the question you just posed to me. In actual fact, human beings, we are such a very complicated person. And I'm still going to answer this question, taking a cue from the point I've just stated earlier. I personally know a lot of people in this country who are very well-to-do, very influential, and very powerful, yet very humble. So what I would like to talk about is it is absolutely boiled down to how you were actually brought up, the kind of people you have around you, the kind of things that were inculcated in you was growing. If you were told that you pay little or no attention to someone who has nothing because you are up there, and what this some of these leaders do is that, let me just make it more practical. You pick up a chick and then you remove all the feathers from the chick, and now you put in a corn on the ground for the fowl to swallow. So that fowl at that time feels that is the greatest help you can ever do for him. Meanwhile, the fowl has the ability to fly and then find better food for itself. So what the point I want to establish here is, first of all, it depends on how you have been brought up. If you have been brought up at your youthful age, you read good books about people who made it in life, very accomplished people who made it in life, who from the very beginning they had nothing and now they have something, and yet they also adhere to the basic principle of humility and service to ordinary civilian. Trust me, you can never be ruined by power. And then also the kind of books you read. When you read because intellectual growth begins at birth and ceases at death. So as far as you are alive, you read. And one of the things I love to read about is people's biography or even autobiography. How did this person live his life when he had nothing and when he had something? So the gap, it is up to you to make that important decision. And also another very important point is discipline. I see success as highly contingent on discipline. If you're not disciplined, there are certain fates in life that you cannot attain, because when you attain that fate, you will use the power that you have been given to actually ruin someone else's life, which is absolutely wrong. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying on that. Please, anyone who wishes to contribute can just send a request to speak, and then I'll grant that request for the person to speak. Yes, so anyone who wants to speak can just send a request, and then I'll grant the request for you to speak. But before then, let's hear our last remark from Mr. Gabin. You will have to take leave of us soon. So let's hear last remark from Mr. Gabins, and then anyone else who wants to contribute, just send a request to speak and I'll give it to you.
Mr. Jones, what's the question again, please?
Yes, just give your remarks on the program, then you can take your leave.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I believe, strongly, I am a supporter of youths who are willing to build their capacities to contribute to the change that we want to see. Now, innovation, specifically a sustainable ones that would help improve on the lives of young people, are things that we must embrace. The ability to serve as a leader is quite important. And so I would really want to encourage every young person to themselves involved in whatever forms of training that are available for them in terms of leadership. And also, when it comes to social impact, not a lot of young people are willing to volunteer, to serve, and add some positivity to the lives of other people. It's more of like everybody's trying to mind their own business. No one is willing to go out there to sacrifice a little, to volunteer for a good initiative. I mean, Mr. Jones, you've seen the works that we've done in the Volta region. If we hadn't taken the step to sacrifice and volunteer, just imagine the number of young people who wouldn't actually know about the opportunities that are out there. The serves as an ambassador for change, as ambassador for capacity building, as an ambassador for innovation. I believe that the results we want to see will come way quicker than we even expect. And this is really going to bring the change that we want to see from generations to generations that will come after us. We keep complaining. I believe that it's high time we stop complaining and start putting in the work. If we don't know how that work is done, let's get ourselves trained. Let's get ourselves to understand the system that we are talking about. Then we can contribute to the change that we want to see. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Albert Garbins. I concur. Garbins is doing a lot of things. So sometimes I once asked him, how is he even managing his time? Because he's involved in a lot of initiatives, of which some he does not even get a peswa, some he gets something small, to keep himself up. And I must commend you for a lot that you are doing. Youth Impact Movement and these branches are ready to work with you for the future, because indeed we are taking over. We need people like you to be involved in nation building. So on behalf of my people, I want to say thank you to you, and then God keep you fit, healthy, so that you continue the good work you are doing for Mother Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Hello,
So
Mr. Gabin.
yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Fetty, let's hear from you.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much. Personally, I admire you so much. Way several years ago, we've met, and the way I know you to be, you've even become more sophisticated. So I want to put on record that there is no doubt that what you stand for, the change that you always advocate for, the positive change for that matter, the capacity building that you always preach on whichever platform you find yourself in. Keep doing that, and trust me, one day, generations unborn will read about you and hear about you and get inspired. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So, our listeners, we have now reached a place that anyone who wants to contribute can contribute on the topic. So, if you want to contribute, just send the request to speak. There's a microphone button there. When you click on it, then the request will be sent to me to grant you opportunity to become a speaker, and then you can speak on today's program. The program is only lasting for an hour. Then we have exhausted around 35 minutes now. So DP, Elliot, Sonny, Brian, and Hubert, do any of you want to contribute at this point in time? Okay, so ahead of the questions or the request to speak, allow me to highlight some matters that our attention has not really been drawn through or drawn to about this particular team. So, as you all know, there are some things that we can think about with respect to this particular team. So, we have issues about collaborations. Shouldn't there be collaborations between youth groups to ensure a greater reach? Shouldn't there be collaborations between youth groups to ensure a greater reach to people? Empowerment. We need to believe in young leaders, provide them resources, mentorship, trust, and let their creativity and passion flourish. Education. Do we teach roots learning for project-based initiatives where youth identify problems and work towards solutions and build confidence and leadership skills? Technology, whether online platforms does indeed connect you young minds with experts and peers, creating a global network for learning and collaboration. Generational gap, where an open dialogue is key, where adults will need to respect young voices and provide guidance without shifting their initiatives. Investment, so whether we should invest in young driven initiatives, resources, funding, infrastructure. And in the future, as you know, the future is bright. The future is bright, and shaping it by passion, innovation, and collaboration of spirits of youth. We have to support that. So I have a request by Brian to speak. So Brian, let's hear from you. I've granted your request to speak. Let's hear from you. Yes, Brian, can you now speak? Oh, he's still not able to speak.
Okay. While we wait for Brian, I would like to add something new. I think one of the things that the devil is as youth in Ghana, in West Africa, and in Africa is fear. We always have the fear of doing something. What if I've started doing it and then someone, maybe the person is shouting at me, or the person maybe using a phone, a medium to actually intimidate me. So, in fact, the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of Mark Zuckerberg and all those, even though they had challenges when they were trying to nurture their initiatives, but then they have that courage. You know, if you don't trust yourself, no one can ever trust you. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else can believe in you. I believe that the population of Africa is very youthful, and that is the advantage we have to take for ourselves. That initiative, and trust me, the mind is more active, more productive, and more hardworking at its youthful age, from 20 to about 45. From 50 upwards, that is when you actually recount on some of the achievements that you have done or that you have talked when you were very young. Now, some of our leaders are of 50 and above, who have already outlived their future. So we cannot allow these individuals who have outlived their future to create our future for us. So we need to have that hope. We need to have that faith. And the greatest form of faith is planning. So whether you are 16 or 61, my brother, my sister, you have to sit down and plan your life. And planning your life simply means get involved with the right group, read educative books that can really inspire you, get involved in discussions like this, network, strategic networking, so that you can harness whichever initiative you have for the necessary mentorship and execution. And I also want to suggest that the government through relevant institutions and creates an industrialization platform where young individuals like us, can actually showcase our talent. My other speaker, Gabin, recently just won an award, a Cosmos Innovation Challenge. I'm sure he has forgotten to talk about it. He won an award, some Hacks innovative idea, when you use the rice chaff to actually make a product. And he won a very great, impressive prize, which is very inspiring. So I entreat you, if you can hear my voice, I'm challenging you, I'm daring you to actually come up with an initiative. Talk to people whom you feel can really help. If you want to network with us, fine. I am always there for any like-minded person who is ready to effect change. So we can work together. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Fiti. So, Brian, if you can speak, can you speak? Or you still have not been granted the opportunity? I think I approved. Brian? Oh, it hasn't been granted. Okay, then awesome. Okay, let me just send it to Brian again. Okay, so as we are waiting, approving Brian. Okay, yes, Brian, please approve the request, and then you'll be granted. Yes. Okay, Hubert has also requested. So whilst we get the other people, Dr. Feti, so do you think this youth initiative should have a grant support from government as well?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Please, can you hear me? Yeah. So if I hear you well, you said, should this youth initiative actually benefit from any grant from the government?
Like, should they?
Should they? Well, the grants might not necessarily be from the government. It can be from an individual. Perhaps me in the future when I become a billionaire, I have an open door policy. Fine. Now, the most important thing we should be thinking about is the fact that do we have the initiative? It's just like you want to travel, you don't have a visa, then you're looking for a air ticket. So let us have the initiative first. When we reach the bridge, we will cross. Trust me. I think what was that? I think a couple of months ago, there was one guy from who Technical University who won a presidential pitch about this momoni, this local momoni that people normally buy. You know, it has this kind of funny odor. But when you used to prepare your palava sauce, you really enjoy it. My grandma calls it promoter. So this guy actually like creatively, innovatively converted that into a quip. That you can even put in your pocket without it being smelling. So he came first. I think second or first. One or I so had a very excellent initiative. And this grant wasn't from the government, but it was from a private entity, Cosmos Innovation Challenge, an American energy company, as part of that corporate social responsibility. So these initiatives, first of all, I am of the view that have the initiative first. If you have the initiative and the government or any entity is not supporting, then you have a case. But findings had it that no individual in Ghana, West Africa, or Africa has a very, how will I say it, a very lucrative initiative or an initiative that can actually catch the attentions of perhaps the government, some foreign investors, and was really ignored. Some years ago, Bill Gates, the owner of Microsoft, came to Ghana, in fact, Volta region, to Akachi, to pick up a guy who he thought had a very lucrative initiative. Bill Gates has tapped into his ideas, and it is what it is. So the legacy that I leave on this earth can never die. So someone said good people die, but their deeds abide. So ask yourself, what significant impact can I do in my little community that can make that community better than the one I came to meet? When you start thinking that way, then you are good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doc. So please, we send the application to speak to everyone joining here. So please, Brian, try and join. We have sent, so can you just accept the invitation to be a speaker, and then you have the opportunity to speak. We have our friends from Uganda who have also joined us as well. Yes, we have our friends from Uganda. So in about 9 minutes, we'll bring the meeting to a close. Kukwa, I've seen your request and I've granted it as well. I don't know why you are not able to speak. Oh, this is the first time we are using the X space, so of course challenges would come, but I am hopeful for a better future. So in the interim, since we are not hearing, we are basically drawing to the conclusion of the entire panel discussion. The youth indeed are for the future. And for me, one thing I believe in is transparency. And transparency is the same thing that I use to run youth impact movement and its branches. Whatever I do, I inform everyone. And whatever expenses that are being made, the highest board is being informed of whatsoever expenses that is being made. Whatever is being spent, they are being informed. And then general expense accounts are given to contributors. Yes. And tomorrow we'll be having another general meeting where we would account on whatever we have done during the year. And that is one of the virtues I want to inculcate into everyone. They said it has to be leadership by example. So if you, the leader, you are preaching this and you don't do it, then your integrity is questionable. Your integrity becomes questionable. There is one thing that we all need to know. Everyone is good at this, one is good at that. As much as possible, let's try to not be jealous. I think as of now, Hubert has now accepted the invitation to be a speaker. Hubert, let's hear from you. What contribution you have on this topic?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jones, and the other speakers. It has been an insightful moment being part of this discussion. Okay, so Doctor, listening to the first speaker, McGharbins, and then Dr. Spechi, I think they've done well. And then I just want to touch on a part that Dr. Apache said, that youths of this day are not ready to start something, most of them, because of what? The fear of losing. Because if you want to do something and you don't have that courage, that charisma, that okay, what I'm coming to start, the project I'm coming to start, it's either win or lose. But we shouldn't always focus on the good aspect. When we talk about the big entrepreneurs in this country or the world globally, we cannot attest to the fact that they've start not once, not twice. They start, they fall, then rise, and then pick up themselves, and then pick up what? Things that they've not done well to adjust, and then what? Forge ahead. Most youths of this day are not ready to what? Go through what? Such process, because the only thing that they are eager to do is what? To win. I would say that if we don't have win, there is nothing like lose. If there is nothing like winning, there is nothing like losing. If there is no success, there is no failure. So until we've changed our mindset that, okay, where we are going, it's a win or lose affair, I think we are doing nothing. And the youth of this day are falling prey to such. And one thing too, most of the youth now these days are not ready to do anything called volunteerism. They feel like it's a waste of time. Because me, when you study me, I like volunteering to do most things. But when you look at the youth, how they are veering nowadays, they are not ready to volunteer and do things. Because when you volunteer, you get the opportunity to meet people, meet big people that will, even if you couldn't get anything in return, you have somebody that will, let's say in the next future, that person can help you. And that comes back to what? We, the youths, that we want something in return. As soon as we provided a service to somebody, we want something always in a return, for which I think we have to desist from that, or not to that line, if truly we want to what? Achieve something in future. Because most of the youth nowadays, if it's not something that's going to benefit them in the next possible moments, they aren't ready to what? Partake in it. They need something They need quick money. They need something just quick. If you are talking about a longer time or what, a long term what process or something that you have to pass through a process before you get there, no, they are not ready to what go through what the tones and then get that money or get that thing done. They just need it quick. So until we depart or we take our minds off from those things, but me, I think we are not going anywhere. We aren't going anywhere. So that's the little like I would like to touch on. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Hubert. Is the minority leader of Youth Impact Parliament Ghana. We also have Brian Burungi, who is the minority chief whip YIP Uganda. We also have here Dion Fine, who is assistant clerk accounts YIP Ghana. And Sonny Sally, I don't exactly know your portfolio. I don't know your name to recall if you have any portfolio. But so prior to closing.
Okay, I can.
Yeah. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Yes, I've heard it. I've heard it. I'm listening to you. Please, do you know Sonny? Okay. So, yes, Dr. Feti, let's hear your concluding remarks. Let's hear your concluding remarks. In about 3 minutes, we'll bring the program to a halt. Okay. So, okay. We lost Dr. Feti a bit. Let's hear a little concluding remarks from you. And then
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again, Mr. Jones. Yes, we as you always say, we the youths are the backbone of every country. Without the youth, I don't think any country will still exist in the years to come. So this should be an opportunity for every youth. As in your youthful age, you should always align yourself, involve yourself with any youth initiative or youth activity that can groom you well. And kudos to Mr. Jones, kudos to McGharbins and anybody who is involving the youth. And then what? Impacting, that's the word, impacting the youth very well, that they are not what? Actually falling prey to what? These social vices that is very predominant in our society nowadays. So I will encourage every youth out there, it's not too late. Find yourself with something doing. If you have the mindset, approach somebody that can nurture that mindset for you, that can help you, push you to the right path. And then what? Let's all make that environment, that society that we find ourselves very habitable for each and everyone. And I will plead that the government should actually provide the platform for youths that are striving to connect these youths in the various communities together, create a platform and more platform, even though we have some, but the opportunities should be more and easily accessible for the youth out there, that they can get grants to support those initiatives. Because when the youth are not there, or they are not actually following the norms of the society, I don't think in the next future we will be having a good country or a good state. So that's the little I would like to add on my concluding remarks. Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. I'm a Shibiglo.
Yes, thank you very much. Dion, let's hear what you have for us, then we'll close the program.
Okay, good evening. Yeah, so my little I wanted to add to it is we have to make our initiatives we have come and be able to keep it as a long term, as Hubert was saying, and as Makwisi was saying, we're keeping it going for a long term. We leave a legacy, and where the youth know that these initiatives are there for them and they wouldn't feel left out or anything as they are growing, and they'll get involved in whatever is going on in the country, and then we'll see the progress. Because since we didn't come and meet it, everybody thinks there's unemployment and all that. So we creating these initiatives would leave a mark and will make it useful for the youth and those coming up. Thank you. Yeah, so that's what I have.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Afeti, let's hear your concluding remarks and bring the program to a close. Yes. Mr. Marco Afeti, can we have you give your concluding remarks and we close the program? Okay, so since we are now hearing from Dr. Feti, on this note, I want to say thank you to all of you who have participated, who have shown interest in our first X Space program. This idea was suggested by one of our leaders in Uganda, and I want the credits to go to him because he suggested that we should hold an X program. So more will come in next year, 2024, and I wish you all the best. Let's all turn up for the annual general meeting tomorrow to close docket on the year and account on the activities that we have had during the entire of this year. Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Feti, let's hear you speak. Okay. Well, so Dr. Veti wishes to give his remarks, but he's a speaker. I don't know why he's unable to speak. Okay, Doc, let's hear from you.
Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for the ups and downs. I really want to. My concluding remarks is going to be a very short story about my personal self. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Okay. Please, can you hear me now? Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for the ups and downs. I really want to. My concluding remarks is going to be a very short story about my personal self.
Oh, yes, Doc, let's hear from you. Hello. Okay, I think Doc is having some small issues. So, if you don't mind, we'll proceed to close. But if you're able to speak, no problem. Okay, yes, Doc, I think your mic is on. Let's hear you.
I think he's having a problem with the network.
Okay, then let's just proceed to close because we are far behind time to close. This program was scheduled to just happen for an hour. And once again, I'm grateful to all the participants of our first X-Space program. And I want to thank McGharbins Network, who I approached just a day and then I proposed that let's hold the program. I didn't need to write a letter and then go through all these incidents. It just came around and then it happened. So McGharbins, thank you very much. And to all the members of Youth Impact Movement who have taken it day upon themselves to participate, I say thank you to you all. Midase, Atekareka. On this note, I would say that we call it a day. We started with God and we are ending with God. So may the Holy Spirit be with you all as we end in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. You all do have a nice day. Good night.
Good night.